power of a college degree can transform a student's life, their family's life, and their community. We believe that students from across Chicago, from every community, every neighborhood, every zip code, deserve an opportunity to achieve that goal. For students who are from under-resourced communities, who are first in their families to go to college, who attend high schools that have historically been left behind as it relates to college and career readiness and college planning. We believe that students should have equitable access to that.
The mission of Bottom Line is to really empower all of these wonderful students, these capable students, these inspiring students, and allows them to have a path to get into and to graduate from college, both through an access program and a success program, so that they, upon graduation, can go out and make generational and transformational changes in their lives, in their families' lives, and those of their community.
Bottom Line's access program is one that works with seniors in high school to plan for college, envision themselves in college, and then complete all the necessary steps that go in to getting into college, and complete financial aid forms and things that are really cumbersome and overbearing.
Having a model where you have advisors who are very in tune with the students' needs allows them to serve as more effective partners, advocates, and quite frankly, friends. They know what it takes to make this change, to walk this path. They have a true partner walking hand in hand with them as they work to achieve their goals.
It comes from a place of trust and a place of safety, being able to come in and share many of the experiences and the obstacles. And I definitely wanted to be that person who I would have wished would brought that support for me when I was going through that journey.
They know they have someone to walk them through what the process looks like and to be able to enjoy it as well.
We prioritize working with students who are from households that are below the poverty line.
The financial decisions that the students are making is extremely important. Bottom Line has developed an incredible, powerful data set and system focusing on college affordability, so that the students, when they graduate, can go and work in the field of their choice, just like any other college graduate should be able to do, without having to worry about being overburdened by student loans or other financial considerations that curtail the choices that they make later on in life.
Bottom Line doesn't stop just there. Our success program works with students once they've graduated from high school and are off to college. We have 13 partner colleges here in the Chicagoland and Illinois region, supporting them as they're navigating new freedoms, new responsibilities.
We partner with our students in a lot of different ways that aren't limited to the academic part of the college experience. That includes how to write a resume and especially have externships.
These opportunities are able to provide students with really great networking, connections, understanding also the interviewing process. There are challenges that can come up for some of our students who might derail them from their college journey, and Bottom Line is able to support them through our Go Far Fund. They have been able to get some support with housing, with utilities, with groceries, which has really made the difference in having peace of mind for them and their families and being able to focus entirely on their education and their academics.
Bottom Line started here in Chicago in 2014, and we started with serving 72 students. Today, in 2022, we're proud to serve over 1,500 students annually. We know from our work in Chicago that there are many hundreds and thousands of students who deserve and desire to go to college but don't have the resources.
Rise Up is both a call to action for the community to support Bottom Line and our students, and also is a celebration of what our students have done. They have risen up, taken control of their lives, of their college path, evidence that they are ready to meet that call to action, and all we need is for our community to support them in doing that.
Good evening. What an awesome video and way to kick off tonight's celebration. My name is Jorge Becerra. I was a part of Bottom Line's Access program this last year. I hope everyone is as excited as I am to be here. The first fully in-person Rise Up event since 2019. Now that's pretty big. I'd like to give an extra warm welcome to our honored guest, Champion for College Success, Pedro Martinez, the CEO of Chicago Public Schools, Corporate Honoree, Brandt, and Allstate, and featured speakers, Natasha Granholm and Banks. I'd also like to extend gratitude to the Chicago Board, event sponsors, bottom line staff, and the staff at the Garrity for making tonight possible. Lastly, let's hear from my amazing fellow bottom line students and alum, many of whom are in attendance tonight. I recently graduated from Cristo Rey Jesuit High School, right here in Pilsen. I am so excited to welcome you all to a community that means so much to me. There are 7 Access students, 37 Success students, and 9 alumni from this zip code. Although I have been involved in the Pilsen community for several years now, this past year was when I truly connected with the community on a different level. Almost a year ago, I founded a not-for-profit coffee shop in Pilsen, Holy Grounds at St. Paul Catholic Church, alongside some parishioners. Not only did we ask, how can we brew the best coffee? We wondered, how can we empower the youth? What can we do to improve the community? And what needs to be done to serve everyone? I believe that is what Pilsen is about. A united, close-knit community of people helping others. Does this sound familiar? This is because Bottom Line's mission aligns almost perfectly with Holy Grounds' mission, except for the coffee part, of course. I heard about Bottom Line through my school and said, hey, why not? As a first-generation student, I needed as much help as I could receive. Little did I know, it would end up completely changing my life. I received more support than I ever had before. If I had a question, I was comfortable enough with asking my Access advisor, who was always helpful. The level of attention is truly unmatched. They gave me the resources to make the college application process not so scary. Keep in mind, I'm a first-generation student, so that says a lot. Applying to colleges is quite difficult when you don't even know what FAFSA is, college application deadline types, or the difference between sub and unsubsidized loans. For me, the most surreal part was how much attention I was receiving from Bottom Line. Sometimes, it felt like we had meetings every other week. Yet, every time, I was learning something new and felt myself growing in confidence. With detailed timelines, college matching suggestions, essay support, and more, I was able to get into the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign for engineering, and I will be continuing with Bottom Line Success Program. Now, today we are at the Rise Up event. But what does Rise Up mean exactly? It means to excel, to go further, to be outstanding. The Bottom Line staff works relentlessly to set the example for their students to embody in and out of the classroom. With their guidance, I was able to worry less about college and more about other things, like managing a coffee shop. Sounds crazy, I know, but don't worry. At the church, we were called crazy for wanting to start a coffee shop. Well, we might be crazy, but we're not quitters. Thank you all for being part of my journey. I'd like to invite Will Hobart, Bottom Line Chicago's Executive Director, up to begin the next portion of tonight's event.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Jorge. Wow, what a way to kick off Bottom Line Rise Up 2022. Jorge, congratulations on graduating from Cristo Rey High School and on your acceptance into the University of Illinois. We are all proud of you for your hard-earned accomplishments and are inspired by your vision and ambition for your future. And as if completing all the necessary requirements of a high school diploma wasn't enough, congratulations on also starting your own coffee shop, Holy Grounds, right here in Pilsen. Finding a way to translate your passions into something that offers value and brings members of your community together is truly inspiring. My name is Will Hobart, and I have the privilege of serving as Executive Director of Bottom Line Chicago. Again, welcome to Rise Up 2022. Tonight represents the first time the Bottom Line community of students, alumni, our incredible staff, our dedicated board of directors, and champions like all of you who are in this room have been able to gather together in 3 years. I am so grateful for this opportunity for us to do this. To all of our guests in the room, thank you for braving the Chicago heat wave and taking time to join us tonight to celebrate the incredible accomplishments of students who have partnered with Bottom Line this past year, just over 1,500. This evening is about celebrating the grit, determination, and success that our students at Bottom Line have demonstrated and accomplished. Moreover, tonight is also a call to action to ensure thousands of deserving and talented Chicago students have the opportunity to get into college, to graduate, and to go far in the years to come. All of your support tonight means everything. We have an amazing staff here at Bottom Line, and I'll get more on them shortly, but we also have amazing leadership on our regional board of directors. I want to thank all of the Chicago board members who are here tonight for your leadership, your commitment, your generosity in supporting the mission of Bottom Line and our students. John Van Gorp has served as a member of the Chicago Board of Directors since 2014, when Bottom Line first launched in the region. For the past 3, little bit more, years, John has served as the chair of our board. He has worked tirelessly to elevate Bottom Line and put our mission and students front and center. He has leaned into both the fun and not so much fun parts of being a leader on our board, and we are grateful to him for his years of servant leadership. John believes in the potential of students in Bottom Line and the mission of our program. He has led the region with integrity and with a passion that is contagious. We are grateful to him for his leadership as chair and all that he has done on behalf of the thousands of students of Chicago since 2014. While John is passing the chairmanship to Alejandro Longoria, he will continue his steadfast commitment to this critical work, continuing to serve on our board. As a small token of our appreciation, staff and board, I wanted to present John when he comes up with this clock. Again, small token of our deep gratitude and appreciation. Please join me in thanking John for his leadership and welcoming him to the stage.
Well, we'll see if I can live up to the billing here. Will's part of our amazing staff, and I'd like our staff, if you're able to stand or raise your hand if you're not in the room, just so we can identify who's here from our staff tonight. And please stay standing. I'd like our regional advisory board members also to stand if you're able. From where you're located, so we can acknowledge you. We also have a leadership council and an emerging leaders council. Emerging leaders are young leaders in Chicago that are making a difference. If members of the emerging leaders council and leadership council could stand, please. And then finally, our students and graduates of the program. If there's any in the audience, if you could stand, thank you. So it's been an amazing run for me in this organization, great organization, and this actually goes all the way back to 2005. Pedro and I were Leadership Greater Chicago classmates in 2005, and we were challenged to do something significant and important in Chicago for the betterment of the community. I would say Pedro has me beat considerably on what he's done, but bottom line has been my small contribution to Chicago and to the betterment of our community. And I often think about, well, why do I care about Bottom Line? Why is this a compelling organization for me? And I think there's really, for me, three things. The first thing for me is that this is an organization that is actually making a difference and has proven to make a difference. Chicago isn't our first site. It's our third site. We were originally in Boston, then went to New York, and have been in Chicago for 8 years. And we have a program that has data behind it that shows that it works. So in Chicago, where 2/3 of the new jobs are requiring a college degree, but yet CPS is not at a level of achieving a college degree at that level 6 years after high school graduation, we need programs to make a difference, to be able to create the candidates to fill those jobs in Chicago, and Bottom Line works. We'll get into that more tonight, but you'll understand by the time you leave tonight that these programs are programs that work, and they help to allow people to achieve the goal of college completion so they can be qualified for those new jobs that are getting created in Chicago. As a member of this community that hires workers, I want to find diverse workers. That is a huge commitment of my organization. I know it's a commitment of many organizations in Chicago. Almost 100% of our students are diverse. And so if you're sitting in the room tonight and you're like me, looking to hire people in Chicago, this is the organization for you. It's not good enough to say, I'm going to hire the diverse candidates when they're available. You need to create the diverse candidates, and Bottom Line allows you to do that, creating college graduates that are eligible for the new jobs we're creating. But this work is deeply personal to me, and I care about it because my father, who was a low-income, first-generation college student, he grew up on a family farm. His parents had 6th grade educations. He had fits and starts as he got into college. It wasn't easy for him, and he didn't have a lot of guidance at home. He went off to the Korean conflict and came back and completed several advanced degrees on the GI Bill. And he impressed upon me, his son, the need to go to college. And my daughter's in college, and my son will follow behind her. So he set our family on a pathway to college completion that's changed the course of our lives. And I think that's going to be true for our students as well. And I think that can be true for Chicago as well, as we have more students achieve college completion. As we mentioned earlier, the pandemic has been hard on many people. It's been hard on us because we can't have these fabulous events, but it's been hard on our students particularly. Our students represent some of the most marginalized groups of Chicago that have suffered the most during the pandemic. The Go Far Fund, which we've established to help make microgrants to our students, has been transformational. We've had students where we're the only organization that their family knows that can help. All of their family friends and fellow family members are similarly in extreme situations. So we've been delighted to help make little microgrants to help people stay in school and help their families be able to support them through that journey. We've made grants for shelter, for food. We've made grants for bedding when people have been displaced out of their houses, and we've even made a toothpaste grant when somebody needed toothpaste, and it's pretty hard to stay committed to school when you can't brush your teeth. So I'm really proud of what this program has done, not just in terms of getting students to achieve their goals of college completion, but doing good in the Chicago community and helping fill a very defined need. And we are on a wonderful trajectory for the future. We started with 4 target colleges locally where our students would be supported. Now we have 13. And if there's anybody from our target colleges in the audience, if you could stand to raise your hand so we can acknowledge you, they're wonderful partners of ours. And I'm delighted to see a partnership growing with CPS and that we can help them as they pass off their students to us in order to achieve college completion. There's wonderful things we can do together, and the future is bright in terms of our partnership with CPS. We're going to play a brief video from one of our students, and she's going to talk about our former executive director a little bit. And I'm going to invite him up to the stage when we're finished because I want to say a few words about his leadership.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Hernandez. I'm proud to say that I was the very first student to apply and be accepted to the Success Program at Bottom Line Chicago in 2014. I wish I could be there to celebrate in person with you all the impact Bottom Line has made on first generation students like myself, but I'm glad that I'm able to virtually share my experience and appreciation for Bottom Line. First, I wanted to share a little bit about how I found out about Bottom Line. I grew up in the Little Village community and was attending Multicultural Arts High School. Unfortunately, many of my classmates had decided not to pursue a degree after graduating. Many of them weren't motivated to attend college, believed it was too expensive, wanted to work right after high school, or had other factors that influenced their decision not to go. I was one of the 3 students who decided to attend UIC. I felt overwhelmed, unsure, and distressed about being the first in my family to attend college. I remember sitting at my high school counselor's office, days away from graduation, and she handed me a flyer about Bottom Line. She expressed how proud she was on my decision to attend a 4-year institution and wanted to make sure I had the resources necessary to succeed. I remember going home and submitting my application, and it was no later than a day that I got the email that I had been accepted into the Success Program. During my first student meeting, my advisor, Gail, had told me that she remembered I had expressed interest in working in advising in the future. She mentioned that there was an opening for a position for a front desk worker at the office. I told her I was very interested, and she scheduled me for an interview with Chris and Katrina. Fast forward, I was offered the position of front desk assistant. And during the time there, I was able to gain valuable experience and skills through summer internships. I also had an advantage of having amazing advisors just a few feet away. All the advisors there always offered me their support, advice, and care. However, one advisor in particular, Hannah, was the one who influenced my decision to pursue a career in advising. I remember my junior year at UIC, I had issues with my financial aid. I remember expressing to Hannah how frustrated and lost I felt. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to afford tuition for that semester. And Hannah took it upon herself to help me draft an appeal letter and accompanied me to the financial aid office. This was only one of the many instances that Hannah made me feel supported and cared for. She also was there to hear me vent about my classes and taught me to appreciate my introverted personality. I can't thank her enough for everything she did for me. Lastly, I wanted to thank one of the first people at the office who I met and saw potential in me, Chris. One of the best memories I have with Chris is the time he scheduled a coffee meeting with me. And during this meeting, we discussed my goals, achievements, and he listened to any ideas that would add on to the impact of the Success Program. Even after I had graduated from UIC and was preparing to transition out of my role as a student worker, he would send me job postings that he thought I would be a great fit for. Thank you, Chris, for the years of support. I admire your passion and dedication in making sure first generation and low-income students like myself are provided with the resources and skills necessary to get in, graduate, and go far.
Chris Broden, if you could come up here and stand next to me while I say a few things about you. So Chris was our first executive director and in many ways the founder of Bottom Line Chicago. Chris recruited the staff, recruited the regional advisory board, curated the original network of funders, helped recruit the original students into Bottom Line Chicago, and made sure the program succeeded. Chris is a wonderful fundraiser, he's a terrific operations manager, but most of all, he's just a good human whose heart is in the right place. And he's been a good friend to me over the last 3 years as we work together. I've enjoyed knowing him professionally, but also personally. I'll get a text from Chris at the most unexpected times, just checking in, seeing how things are going. He's a caring individual, and he cares deeply about Bottom Line. He cares deeply about Chicago, cares deeply about the students and the staff. Will's going to take us to amazing places, and I think that refreshing leadership in the executive director role is part of many not-for-profits, but Chris will always leave his fingerprints on Bottom Line, and Bottom Line Chicago will always be shaped from his input and the way that he constructed the organization from its very beginnings. We thought about what to get Chris. Actually, this was Monica's idea because there's 2 maps of Chicago of Bottom Line offices as Chris would walk by those as he'd get to his office. And Chicago always inspired Chris, the desire to help people from all communities. Chris was at Cristo Rey at one point in his life. He knows this neighborhood, he knows the zip code, and he knows the challenges that are here. And so we thought we'd get Chris a map of Chicago to commemorate his years at Bottom Line and his great leadership. We've signed the back of it, the board has, Chris, but I hope you find an appropriate place to hang this, and I hope that you always carry Bottom Line with you. Your contributions to this organization have been immense, and we will always be indebted to you, and the ties between us will always be close, so thank you. And I'm going to welcome Will back up to the stage.
Lots of breakable things I'm trusted to carry up here tonight. So, thank you, John, and thank you, Chris. Congratulations, huge shoes to follow, and I've appreciated all the wisdom that Chris has provided to me as I've stepped into this role, into this incredible organization. Mr. Pedro Martinez has been a leader and an advocate for educational equity and reform his entire career. Mr. Martinez has served as the leader of Chicago Public Schools since September 2021, but has more than 20 years experience in private, nonprofit, and public education. But perhaps equally important, Mr. Martinez has lived experience and perspective that aligns deeply with Bottom Line's core values and beliefs that college changes everything and that we must work together to challenge and change systems and structures that have forever excluded members of Black and brown communities and communities of color. Born in Mexico, Mr. Martinez came to Chicago with his family at the age of 5 in search of a better life. The oldest of 12 children, his CPS journey began as a student on Chicago's West Side, and he credits the education he received in our district schools with changing the trajectory of his life. A proud graduate of Benito Juarez High School, a neighborhood CPS school just about a half-mile down Blue Island from here, also in the Pilsen community. Like many students Bottom Line works with, Mr. Martinez is the first in his family to graduate from high school and from college. CEO Martinez earned his bachelor degree in science in accounting from the University of Illinois, a Bottom Line partner college, as well as an MBA from DePaul University, which is also a Bottom Line partner college. Bottom Line is proud to recognize Chicago Public Schools CEO Pedro Martinez as its 2022 champion for college completion. Can you join me up here, please? Thank you for your leadership and for partnering with Bottom Line to ensure the talented students of Chicago have the resources they need to achieve their goals. Please join me in thanking and congratulating CEO Martinez. Hold on to this for you.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, come on, you can do a lot better than that. Good evening, everyone. You know, this is my favorite time of the year, where we've been doing 8th grade graduations, high school graduations. I just did a graduations event yesterday with my alma mater elementary school, Walsh Elementary. So I got to be the speaker for the 8th grade graduation, and we got to do it at Benito Juarez, my alma mater high school. So it was a twofer for one. And I'll tell you, the reason I love this time of the year, it's because it reminds all of us of why we do this work. It reminds all of us of the success and the talents that our children have. So a little bit about me, as Will said, and thank you, Will, for that kind introduction. Grew up here in Chicago. was planning to live here my whole life. I was a student. My parents had a second grade education. And one of the things I want to share with you, one of the things I've decided, I'm now in my 50s, and people told me that something happens to you in your 50s, and it is true. And so now, any chance I get to speak to a large group, I like to at least leave a few things with you to think about. So one of the things, when I was a student, I can tell you, growing up in poverty, with parents with a second grade education, I couldn't see my future. I couldn't see what it could be. It took countless teachers, counselors, to help me see it. My boundaries, I lived on 18th Street in Morgan, my boundaries were 18th Street to 22nd Street, and it was Halsted to Western. Could I see UIC? Absolutely. Could I see downtown? Absolutely. But I never felt that that was for me. I felt like I was a visitor, and always very, very careful about that. And so many of our students that grow up in poverty, they grow up with that same mentality. By the way, they do that happens today. And how do I know this? Because I talk to students almost on a regular basis. It's my favorite part of the job. Whether they're in preschool all the way to 12th grade. I have conversations with students on a regular basis. I'm in schools every week. And for somebody who never could see himself in this type of role, you have to imagine, like, it's like, I can't help it. I need to talk to students because I need to just try to understand this journey. And when I graduated from high school, never, first in my family to go to college. And I'll tell you, one of the challenges, this is why Bottom Line is so, so needed in our community. The challenges that exist, if you're the first in your family, and your family is a high poverty family, the systems themselves are so complex. I want you to think back when you were looking at colleges. Think back, right? Think about the level of thought. Think right now, if you have children that are going to be at college level, think about, again, the amount of thought. You could do college tours, right? My children are 11 and 8. My wife graduated from Williams in Massachusetts. Oh my God, Williams has been in our vocabulary for my children since they were babies, right? U of I Champaign is my school, and so, I haven't gotten a chance to get it in there, but I will. They're still young. But if you're growing up in poverty, when do you ever hear that? Not because our parents don't care about education, not because, they don't want the best for their children, but they don't know. There's amazing research that talks about, and I've been studying this research for decades. I've been in education for more than 20 years, everybody. This is my third superintendency. I was in San Antonio for 7 years before this. We significantly increased college going rates there, and this is a passion of mine. And one of the things that the research says that is very clear, when you look at college attendance, and you look at it by income level. So think about it in terms of quartiles, right? You always talk about the top 10%, top 1%. Think of the top 25% compared to the bottom 25%. So you go back to studies, going back to the 70s, the students now that are attending college, they get into college, that gap has closed significantly between the top quartile and the bottom quartile, right? It has closed. So if you look at it was wide in the 70s, and it started closing. But guess what didn't close? Completion rates. If you're in the top quartile in our society of income, your completion rates are in the 70s. If you're in the bottom quartile, that completion rate is less than 10%. Up from 6% back in the 70s. Think about that for a second. By the way, the research is fascinating. It doesn't have a strong correlation with academic preparedness. So think about that for a second. So you got to ask, how can that be? So I asked that question, how can that be? And then I thought about it. So let's say you have a child that's in college, and maybe your child was, or better yet, in high school, and your child's a C student. It's a C student, right? Average student. But your child wants to be a doctor. Your child wants to be a lawyer or an engineer. Tell me who in this room would not make sure that you called all your doctor friends, all your engineering friends, say, hey, can you give my son or daughter just a job shadowing day? Heck, I'll pay you. Don't tell my son or daughter, I'll pay you the money. Give them an internship. Who in this room would not do that? Right? The difference, everybody, is when you live in poverty, you don't have those kind of relationships. The difference is when you live in poverty, you're trying to figure out how to make sure that you don't get kicked out of your apartment. How do you make sure that the utility bill is paid? That's what you're thinking about. So then when our students go to college, and then guess what? They can't afford their textbooks, right? Because we'll get scholarships, but think about when you were in college. Think about all the expenses that nobody ever really plans for per se, right? Food, travel, textbooks. And sometimes the scholarships don't reach that. In San Antonio, my children, I had them we would take them on college tours everywhere around the country because I wanted to expose them. This is a district with over 90% poverty. And one of the interesting things we had that I didn't, figure it out till later was that, we had to buy luggage because they had never been on a plane. They've never traveled. So simple things like luggage. We would take them to Massachusetts or to Illinois, and during the winter months to say, okay, if you come to one of these schools, think about what you gotta wear. Because San Antonio, anybody's been there, it's tropical. We get 100-degree weather through November, very different. But those are the things, think about this, right? Those are the things our children have to think about. So I want you to have that. And I'm very proud of the partnership we have with Bottom Line and I want to thank the foundations, the corporate sponsors, and please do more. I'm very proud of our district. We had a record graduation rate. We peaked right before the pandemic at about 60% of our children going to college. We're going to continue that momentum even more. Some of the things I'll just share with you for the future that we're planning. So first of all, and I want to acknowledge that if our team from CBIS can just stand up, please, I just want to acknowledge you because we have an amazing team. Please, let's applaud you. But I want you to know this for what we're planning for the future. I'm just finishing my first year, and after doing this for 20 years, there's a couple of lessons that I've learned. So one is, very clearly, it is partnerships like Bottom Line that helps our students complete. Because when they leave our high schools, we're a big district, everybody. We're graduating about 20,000 students a year. It is, unfortunately, we just can't follow them always through college, right? Our students keep relations with counselors and teachers, but the reality is we need partners like Bottom Line that not only help them as they're matching their college, getting scholarships, their financial aid, but also transitioning them through those college years. Because think about me with parents of second grade education. My family, not that they didn't want to help, but my father couldn't even imagine what college was. He was mad that I didn't go to work, right? Because he's like, you're 18 already, what the heck, right? He just didn't know. The other is that in order for us to solve this in a very, very at scale, is that we're going to have to accelerate what we're doing in getting children exposure to college sooner. So what does that mean? This year, we had over 460 students that got at least 15 college credit hours, including some that had associate degrees before they finished high school. Think about that for a second. They went to their college graduation weeks before they went to their high school graduation. And I was able to do this at scale in my former district as well. And Texas is actually, they actually have been a big leader in this. And so one of the things that we see in our future here, everybody, by the way, the number of the 460 was a record number compared to previous years, but here's what we see in our future. We want thousands of our children to get to that level. Why? Because if you're a child in poverty, one of the things that contributes to that research data point that I shared with you is your confidence level. And so if we put them in college courses, and I'm having these conversations with college presidents, including Chancellor Salgado from the community colleges, university presidents, If we put them in those courses ahead of time with the right preparation, guess what? You build up their confidence. And by the way, you can take some really cool classes, right? Classes that are related to technology, to healthcare, to construction. And so those are pathways we're going to be building in Chicago. Imagine students being able to take as early as 9th and 10th grade introductory college courses that you took and after you graduated high school. Because what I can tell you right now, and I know this, our students have the capability, they have the talent level, they have the work ethic. So if we just match them with that. And then the other component, I'm going to ask this as a personal request from everybody, what I also want to do is connect that to industries. So imagine if our students could actually see what it is to be an engineer, what it is to be a computer programmer, what it is to work in this area of finance or this area of marketing or in media. Imagine that. And then maybe we can help them really even get internships. So we start eliminating those barriers. And we do that at scale. That's the vision that I want to leave with you. That is where we're going as a district. And I'll tell you this quick story. So Dallas and San Antonio took the leads in doing this in Texas. Dallas is about half the size of Chicago, so a little more comparable to Chicago. Strong corporate partners in Dallas. And so it's funny, I took a whole team to go visit Dallas, including a team from the community colleges, because I wanted them to see it. And the superintendent made this comment. He said, you know, I'm ashamed of this, but I was the superintendent at a time, 5-6 years ago, when Dallas had less than 10% of the students getting any kind of certificate after high school. Anything, associate degrees, bachelor's degree, you name it. Less than 10% of their entire graduating class. Ladies and gentlemen, this year alone, 10% of their students, graduates, are getting associate degrees. That's what's happening in Dallas. I did something similar in San Antonio. That is the vision for Chicago. And I'm sorry, no disrespect to Dallas. Dallas got nothing on us in Chicago. So that's what I asked for. That's what I'll leave with you. Again, thank you, everyone. Again, Vaughn, Will, thank you for this honor. But more importantly, everybody, just please know this is our vision. I want you to be part of it, and I can't wait to work with all of you. Thank you, everyone.
All right, I promise this is the last thing I'll say before the food and dinner is served. But thank you, Pedro, so much for those inspiring words and for sharing more about your personal story and your vision for Chicago Public Schools. We are grateful for your partnership and for your support. We are going to transition to dinner now, and as we do that, I want to personally thank the incredible Bottom Line staff, those who are in attendance tonight, those who are not, for all the hard work that went into making tonight possible. Our staff are seated throughout the room and maybe are likely sitting at tables with you. As you enjoy dinner, I encourage you to engage with our staff. They are prepared to share more about our mission, their role, and how they work with and partner with students every single day. I also want to personally thank and recognize the students and alumni in the room. Thank you all for being here. And again, I also invite you to ask the students about their experience in college, their goals. Many of them are practicing their personal pitches right now and getting in the mode of getting jobs and internships for the summer, so please give them opportunities to practice. Finally, I want to draw your attention to the menu cards in front of you. They look like this. In addition to outlining the lovely food that you'll be enjoying and the program, you'll also see there are QR codes that you can scan with your phone that you'll be able to that'll link and take you to a website where you can donate to Bottom Line tonight. You can also just text Rise Up Shy to 44321, which will also prompt you to be able to make a donation. Finally, for those of you who prefer to fill out something hard copy, we do have donate cards on your table, and there were some out during the cocktail hour, and we encourage you to complete that if that's easier for you, and a Bottom Line team member will collect those. And with that, I will let us all enjoy dinner. Thank you.